What if the very thing that felt like a curse was actually the beginning of your blessing? What if the closed doors, broken dreams, and painful losses in your life were just God's way of redirecting you to something greater? This is the story of Caleb, a young man whose life seemed to fall apart, until God showed him that some blessings don't come wrapped in light. Sometimes blessings were disguises. Caleb had it all mapped out. By 28, he had a promising job in a marketing firm, a solid savings account, and a 5-year plan that included buying a home, proposing to his girlfriend, and eventually starting his own business. He was disciplined, focused, a churchgoer who volunteered occasionally and prayed regularly when things got rough. But mostly, life was good, or so he thought. One Friday afternoon, without warning, his manager called him into the office. Everything changed. "Caleb, I'm really sorry. Corporate restructuring. Your position is being eliminated. No job offers. Just polite rejections and growing bills." Just like that, Caleb's confidence was hit hard. He thought he'd bounce back quickly, but weeks turned into months. Then came another blow. His girlfriend, Maria, ended their relationship. "I just feel like we're on different paths," she said. He was stunned. In one season, he lost his job, his relationship, and eventually had to move out of his apartment and back into his parents' house. It felt like rock bottom. One night, sitting alone in the dark, he asked, "God, what did I do wrong?" But God was silent. He had heard sermons about trusting God through hard times. But now, the words felt hollow. Or so it seemed. Caleb had grown up in church. Was actually a redirection? "I've done everything right," he said to a friend one day. "Why is this happening to me?" He helped organize donation drives and tutor high school students. His friend replied with something he didn't want to hear. "Maybe this isn't punishment. Maybe it's preparation." That phrase stuck with him. Could it be that what felt like failure? He didn't understand it, but he began to pray differently. Not, "God, get me out of this," but, "God, help me see what you're doing in this." Still unemployed, but needing to stay active, Caleb volunteered at a community center his church supported. At first, it felt like a consolation prize, a nice thing to do while waiting for his real life to get back on track. He was planting seeds of encouragement, of hope, of love. But Caleb's heart was changing. But slowly, something shifted. He began to enjoy the work. He connected deeply with the teens he mentored. They opened up about broken homes, drugs, depression, and feeling invisible. One young boy, Jordan, clung to Caleb like a big brother. But word spread. "You're the only one who listens to me," he said one day. Caleb felt something he hadn't in months. Purpose. Weeks passed, then months. Still no job in corporate. He no longer felt like he was wasting time. He began to lead youth Bible studies. Then, he helped the center with digital marketing, fundraising, and social media. People started to notice his leadership and creativity. One of the board members said, "You have a gift. Have you ever thought of running your own nonprofit?" It was like a spark ignited. He remembered his old dream of starting something of his own. But now, it wasn't about making money. It was about making impact. With encouragement and prayer, Caleb started a youth mentorship initiative called Second Wind. It was small at first, just him and 5 teens. Churches partnered with him. Local businesses donated supplies. I would have missed the people I was meant to serve, and I would have missed growing into the man I was meant to become. He got a small grant and used it to host weekend workshops, career coaching sessions, and retreats for inner-city youth. The boy who once sat alone in darkness now stood in classrooms, gymnasiums, and community centers, bringing light. And one evening, as he drove home from a successful event, he realized none of this would have happened if life had gone according to his plan. "For not giving me what I thought I wanted," he whispered through tears, "Thank you, God." 2 years after losing his job, Caleb was interviewed on a local radio show about his nonprofit. The host asked, "Caleb, looking back, do you think losing your job was a setback or a setup?" Now I believe he can. But at the time, it felt like the worst. Sometimes blessings were disguises. He smiled. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. He continued, if I had kept that job, I would have missed this calling. His words struck a chord with listeners. That interview went viral. A week later, Caleb received dozens of letters and emails from people who heard his story. A single mother wrote, "Is what freed you to walk into your purpose. I was about to give up, but your story gave me hope again." A former pastor shared, "Was actually divine timing. Your message reminded me why I started serving in the first place." He didn't live in a penthouse. Was the one blocking your growth. And from a teen in another state. I didn't think God could use someone like me. Caleb sat quietly in his room that night, reading the words over and over. He wasn't a CEO. God is right there with you. Look at what God might be building through it. But he had changed lives. That was the real blessing. Caleb now teaches this to every young person he mentors. Don't judge your life by what you've lost. They often show up in disguise. He tells them that just because something looks like failure doesn't mean it is. Sometimes, he says, the job you didn't get, the person who walked away, the delay. God's blessings don't always look like blessings at first. Friend, maybe you're like Caleb was, standing in the ruins of what you thought was your future, confused, angry, wondering where God is. But maybe, just maybe, not punishing you, not abandoning you, but gently, quietly, redirecting you. It might not look like a blessing, not yet, but in time, you may see that the closed door was protection, the delay was preparation, and the loss was the very thing that made space for your next chapter. Don't give up just because it hurts. Romans 8 verse 28 says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." Even the things that don't make sense, even the things that break your heart, all things. So next time life throws you a curveball, remember, some blessings come wrapped in disappointment. Some come after a long wait, and some show up in ways you'd never expect. But they're blessings, all the same. You just have to trust the one who sends them. Have you ever received a blessing in disguise? Share your story in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video to inspire someone else who may be going through a tough season. You never know whose life your story might touch. And remember, your setback might just be heaven's setup.